just as quickly as I can get through this, I'll say that in a day and age when so many opportunities are before us and when so many barriers to our own successes are coming down, we, the artists, more than ever, are the marketplace. More than at any other time since perhaps the first industry pioneers patriated this desert and named it Hollywoodland, we are the only ones that stand between ourselves and a place in the sun.
I think anybody who tells you where they know the industry is going to be in 10 years is either from the future or has a bridge to sell you. I think it's virtually impossible to know where it's going to be 10 years from now. What you can do is you can look, where were we 10 years ago and where are we now? And is the pace of change speeding up? Is it stagnant or is it slowing down? From my limited perspective, it looks like the amount of change is speeding up. We're seeing more and more fragmentation. You know, you see in the big media, you know, the big players, you see consolidation. You know, you have the big six players. You know, you've got, you know, News Corp, you've got CBS, you know, you got Viacom, you got those big guys, Warner. But as far as other providers are concerned, you see a lot more fragmentation, especially on the opening lower levels. And when I say lower, I don't mean quality. I mean just as far as just bubbling up from the creative side. So there's a lot more opportunities, and you see content appearing in all kinds of places we didn't see before. Not just things like phones and things like whatever devices we'll be having 5-10 years from now. You know, we have the new Google Glass, you know, those glasses that you put on. I don't know if you guys saw that. That's coming down the pipeline. But you see it even in traditional forms like television. You see channels fragmenting like crazy. Before we used to have, what, 3-4 major networks, and now you've got how many cable channels? And ad dollars are fragmenting as well. So compensation systems are really being analyzed and studied. So anybody who tells you where they know it's going to be 10 years from now, I think is probably just full of it, unless they're from the future. But there is a lot more fragmenting, and the good news is that there are a lot more opportunities available to just about anyone. The cost for production has just come down so much. You can get quality cameras, lighting, sound equipment for a tiny fraction of what it used to cost.
All of us who've done webisodes, our situation is I don't know how we're able to monetize that yet. Google doesn't know how to monetize it quite yet, and Yahoo doesn't. I mean, they're pouring money into it on spec, obviously, because they think that that's they know they're the future.
What's so exciting about the web, we started about 4 years ago, and that was at the beginning, beginning of 2008, where people were saying, Ruth, that's really cute. We have no idea what it is that you're doing or why. And then all of a sudden, like 4 years later, you know, you see here, everybody's interested, and I think that's really exciting because it really puts the power in our hands. And creativity has no limits. We could do whatever, as you were saying. The cameras are so cheap and so forth. In terms of monetizing, like Dennis was saying, I haven't figured out exactly how to make my living from the web quite yet. The ads that we have are through Blib TV. The ads that we have through the sites. For the third season, we haven't gone into production because we've been in negotiations with an ad agency who wants to partner with us for the next season of the show. So that's why that slowed down that process. But I mean, writing for the web, it got me into the WGA. It got me to like create a show where I got to work with all of my friends and show that I could actually write. And it's opened doors. I've been pitching now a TV show too. The big studios. So it's been an amazing opportunity. So hopefully I'll monetize that way at some point. If it's not just via the web with advertising and sponsorships and so forth, then maybe it'll open the doors to making money on TV. But I think stories could be, any story could be told on any platform. You just have to like choose which segment of that story you want to tell. You just have to adapt that story to each different platform. I don't know the future, but I don't think things are necessarily going away. We're just going to learn how to tell stories according to the how it's going to be presented.
The thing that we're battling with the most right now is everybody's still trying to figure out how to monetize. Very few people, you can count them on one hand, who've actually had success in Felicia Day. She came out with her web series, very niche, as we were talking beforehand, hitting to that gamer genre, the gamers, online gamers, you name it. World of Warcraft. They're huge, and they were silent until she came out. And then you look at her filling a room of 3,000 people down at San Diego Comic-Con every year, and she's around the world doing that. She now has her entire channel on YouTube called Geek and Sundry, with Will Wheaton hosting a big gamer table, and they've got the little gamer stickers as seen on Geek and Sundry in stores selling the games and stuff that they feature on the show. But then you get other independent producers, and we're all kind of scrabbling for that almighty ad dollar to support our desires and our dreams and our vision. And at the end of the day, it comes down to eyeballs. And how many eyeballs can your idea garner and hold on to? And we're not talking 1,000 eyeballs or 10,000 eyeballs. We're talking hundreds of thousands of eyeballs. And the people that are making that difference, very small, very niche. If you look at a lot of the YouTube people that are first and foremost in the eye of everyone watching, they've got a lot of, they're not attracting individual advertisers themselves, but when you get Ray William Johnson, who is the top YouTube guy, and all he does is review other YouTube shows or videos that people put up there, he drops one video and he gets 5 million hits in 24 hours. And if they're paying $2 a CPM, that's a cost per 1,000. So 1,000 eyeballs that watch that video, however they want to figure out what counts as a view or not, that equals up to real money. You do a quick count, and he's making anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 per video that he puts up there. It's a 50-50 share with YouTube. He may actually have a better deal. Who knows? He puts out 2 videos a week. That's $20,000. Even on the most conservative side, that's $12,000. That's pre-tax in his pocket, and that he's paying his staff. And now so you've got people that are creating waves in the industry, doing individual. I don't want to be a talking head, so I'm really interested in how do we monetize the scripted stuff that we do. Yeah. It's still yet to be found. You get an idea, you pitch it to someone like Machinima, and they put the eyeballs, in front of you. They lead you to where the eyeballs are. They get a larger cut of that, but you're building an audience faster because you have something that fits in their gamer niche.
About 2 years ago, I had the concept. Obviously, as mentioned before, I am a dancer. It is what I am most passionate about, and lately, second runner-up to dance, I've become really passionate about my union and about being a worker. And in my relationship with, at the time, AFTRA, now SAG-AFTRA, I've learned that I have a lot to say, not just with my body, but with my words. And then I realized that a lot of people are listening. I've been in LA working for about 8 years. My peers look to me for advice. They look to me as a leader, and I really wanted to do something with that attention that I had and with that following that you mentioned. And so I decided to create a talk show. I didn't want to make a website. I didn't want to create a social media presence. I didn't want to create all of those other things that come along with this little talk show that I wanted to make, right? But turned out this little talk show and an even littler budget turned out to work really well. So what I want to do with it next, obviously bigger, better. Like you said, be more, do more, expect more. My show is called More Than Moves, which I really shot myself in the foot with that, because I created 3 pilot episodes. From that, I got more than 3 offers from YouTube partners, which are channels on YouTube that are funded by or given grants by, say, Google, for example. So a YouTube partner called Dance On reached out to me, said, we think you've got something here with this show. We'd like to help you produce it. So in that case, I'm not really making money, but I'm not spending my money anymore. So that's a big, I know it's not monetization, but it's really reassuring to just know that there is interest. Just by doing something with my spare change, somebody else said, oh, I've got some spare change too, and I want to put it there, because I think that's a great idea.
It's
now,
amazing how much that little change adds up. It's called about building your tribe.
Yes, yes.
And
the tribe.
Seth Godin, marketing guy, talks about your tribe. I didn't mean to interject. I think everybody's kind of hitting on the same thing there, too. And it really comes down to it's an individual sport in the sense that you find your niche. Dance, I don't know what your niche is, but you're hitting it. Success follows that, because as one person starts listening, the next person starts listening, and that person finds interest from that person. It's all word of mouth, and it's all social, and it's all natural, and it builds, and you talk directly to them.
We have, several different contracts. Most of them are traditionally created for traditional markets, for theatrical, ultra-low, shorts, students, television. So when you're talking about new media, you're talking about things that are definitely going to be initially released online. So if you're going to plan on having a web series or a short or sometimes even a feature, and you're going to put that online first, then yeah, we can let you go to film festivals without any additional costs or performer consent. It's built into the contract. Mm-hmm. Most of you that may be wanting to do that should know that a lot of film festivals are still on the traditional side, where they kind of want some sort of premiere status with your content. They don't really want you having an initial release anywhere else. So if you have a festival in mind, make sure you look at their submission guidelines before you start your project under a new media contract, because you may be stuck having to go online first and then not being able to submit that to that festival.
Particularly Sundance. Won't take it.
Right. It's just getting better. There are a lot of festivals that over the years are opening up their submissions, and then there are so many just new festivals opening up all the time. There are online kind of curated festivals. I think the benefit of having all of those little niche distributors is kind of what you're talking about with fragmentation earlier, where there are so many people looking to make a name for themselves as distributors. Yahoo is still trying to get a hold in the video distribution market, and they're looking for exclusive content all the time. So there's these online video distributors that are just looking for exclusive content, ready to cut deals, ready to possibly do some sort of brand integration, although that is borderline commercials. We always have to review those. But there's a lot of opportunity out there. Sometimes it's purely just going to be funding your production. Luckily, you could get some actual compensation out of it. You could actually monetize that.
The one thing that it keeps coming back in my mind from everything we've talked about to this point is the monetizing, that trending word, which is really just about finding a profit stream. So can we ideate? Can we create ideas and create a game plan here tonight of the solution that's going to go out to all of us and out to everyone there? Or is that, where does that go?
I don't have an answer to that, but what
You're not from the future?
I'm not. But what I would, one of the advantages and disadvantages of actually of being a board member of SAG-AFTRA and other people, I know there are other board members here as well, is you get to hear lots of questions from your fellow members who have questions, and a lot of people are trying to are doing it for the first time, and it's commendable, and I applaud people, whether they're writing their own material or whether they partnered up with writers, people who have established writing experience. It's great. It's wonderful. Sometimes they reach out to us in frustration because they're hitting resistance with the union, and what I would suggest strongly, if you're considering writing, producing your own content, which is a great idea, it really is to reach out to people who have done it before through the unions, or better yet, do that and reach out to Connor, reach out to the new media department, but this is key. Do it early on in the process. Don't do it when you're about to go into production, because I have people calling me, it's happened to me twice now, friends who are producing webisodes, hats off to them, but they're calling me saying, SAG-AFTRA is giving me trouble because I don't have all my paperwork done, but I've already locked in this location, I've paid for it, there's no refunds, and it's in 2 days, and I don't have all the paperwork for SAG-AFTRA. I have to choose now between going non-union, asking my actors to work off the card, which we don't want to do, or having to sacrifice all that money for locations. So before you go into production, well before you go into production, and maybe I'd ask fellow panelists, as far as the way you want to structure the writing of the scenes and episodes, talk to your union, ask them ahead of time, what do I need to know? Where are the most common traps? Where am I going to potentially lose money? Where am I going to get in trouble with the union? Do that well ahead of time so that you don't hit surprises. And if it's your first time producing, I have not produced webisode series. I produced a short 10 years ago, and the trouble with that, just as a first-time producer, just all the hiccups that you run into, don't make them cost you money, or make it cost less money by doing your homework ahead of time. Reach out to the departments, reach out to people who have done it before, ask them for advice.
When dealing with small to no budgets, the more you pre-plan, the more money you save. I know from experience that SAG New Media helped me out tremendously way back when, and they're still very open about that. Right there on their website, they've got all the details that you can get rolling on. Same thing with WGA. A good friend of mine who writes a web series out of New York called Anyone But Me, who is in their 4th season, and they've wrapped up beautifully, and they found funding, and it's a great story. She won the WGA award for writers for a web series. First of her kind. It's like, woohoo! They are so open about talking to you about what you cannot do, and they're very supportive of this new media, direction that we're going in, creating our own work. It's just like Assaf said, you have to get out there, and you got to do it before you start putting even pen to paper, really.
Yeah. We've been SAG from day one with the show. And it was a very easy process, and the contracts are a lot easier now, from what I understand. If you work with the new media contract, you've got more flexibility. So same WGA, same DGA. DGA, one day they were so awesome. I was like, I'm gonna go find out, and I just kind of tend to do this. So I went knocking at the doors. I'm like, I have a question. Do you have an appointment? No, but I have a question. They're like, okay. Come on in. And the director of new media there just sat with me and explained it to me, and it was very easy. So, but do it ahead of time so you're not rushing and putting, other people in an awkward situation because you didn't prepare.
Are you leaving here tonight inspired? Yeah. Are you going to go out and begin your art tomorrow? Yeah.